Most people are terrified of silence, convinced that saying more will save their reputation, fix the problem, or prove their worth. But in reality, silence is one of the most potent forms of strength, an invisible force that shields you from regret, commands respect, and gives you the power to control any room without uttering a word. Silence isn't about passivity or weakness, it's about strategy, restraint, and emotional mastery. The wisest leaders, the most magnetic individuals, and those who hold the most power all understand that knowing when to speak is important, but knowing when to stay silent is what truly separates the ordinary from the extraordinary. In this video, I'll break down exactly when to be silent, why silence is your greatest weapon, and how learning to say less can transform your relationships, negotiations, and self-respect. If you want to move through life with unshakable poise and real influence, this is your blueprint for mastering the art of silence. When words hurt more than they heal, silence is not just a safe choice, it's the wisest move you can make, especially in moments of anger, conflict, or high emotion. So many relationships, careers, and reputations have been damaged beyond repair by things said in the heat of the moment. Words that can't be unsaid, wounds that can't be erased. When you feel your blood boiling or your ego under attack, your instinct might be to lash out, defend yourself, or set the record straight. But that's when silence is your true ally. Holding back doesn't mean weakness. It means you value the relationship or your self-control more than the fleeting satisfaction of a comeback. A well-timed pause can diffuse tension, de-escalate arguments, and give you time to see the situation with clarity instead of impulse. It sends a signal that you're not ruled by your emotions, that you don't need to win every battle with words, and that you can handle discomfort without lashing out. In many cases, the silence you choose in a moment of anger saves you from days, months, or even years of regret. Real power is found in restraint. When you know your words could destroy, but you choose to hold them back, you're showing the highest form of strength. Sometimes, the best way to heal, protect, or even save a connection is to say nothing at all until calm and clarity return. That's when silence becomes a shield, protecting not only you, but everyone involved. The art of mystery is rooted in silence. Because when you hold back and let your presence do the talking, you become infinitely more attractive, memorable, and powerful in the eyes of others. Most people overshare in the hopes of being liked or understood, spilling every detail of their life, their thoughts, or their intentions. But those who master silence know that curiosity is a far stronger magnet than any story you could tell. When you leave something unsaid, you invite others to lean in, to fill in the gaps, and to invest mental and emotional energy in figuring you out. This creates a sense of intrigue that makes you stand out because you're not immediately accessible or predictable. In dating, friendships, or even professional settings, those who reveal only what's necessary and do so with purpose command more respect and attention than those who talk without filter. Silence isn't about playing games or withholding for manipulation. It's about understanding that value isn't always found in what you share, but in what you choose to keep sacred. The mysterious person draws others closer, makes them work a little harder, and leaves a lasting impression that lingers long after the conversation ends. If you want to become unforgettable and respected, learn to let silence shape your image. A little mystery, born from knowing when to say nothing, is often the greatest source of attraction and influence you'll ever possess. Silence in negotiation is one of the most powerful yet underrated strategies, because the quietest person in the room often holds the most control, guiding the flow of conversation and shaping the outcome without needing to dominate with words. When you're in any discussion where stakes are high, whether it's a business deal, a boundary-setting conversation, or even resolving conflict, your ability to use silence as a tool can tip the scales in your favor. Most people are uncomfortable with pauses and feel compelled to fill every gap, often revealing too much, conceding ground, or backtracking just to break the tension. But when you master the art of the strategic pause, allowing your offer, question, or boundary to hang in the air, you force others to consider their position more deeply. sometimes even prompting them to negotiate against themselves or reveal what they're really thinking. Silence gives you the advantage of time, space, and psychological leverage. It shows that you're composed, not desperate, and willing to let others come to you. In many high-stakes scenarios, the person who can sit comfortably with silence is perceived as more confident, more prepared, and more in control than those who rush to fill every moment with chatter. So the next time you're negotiating for what you want, remember, every pause is a statement of strength. Hold the silence, and you'll often find the world speaks back with exactly what you need to hear, or gives you exactly what you want. When you have nothing to prove, silence becomes your signature. Choosing to let actions, results, and presence speak for themselves rather than scrambling to justify, explain, or defend every move. In a world obsessed with validation, many people waste energy trying to win arguments, over-explain their choices, or seek approval from those who may never give it. But quiet confidence is shown by the person who resists this urge, who knows that the loudest one in the room rarely has the most substance. By staying silent when you're challenged on your character, questioned about your worth, or provoked to compete in pointless debates, you assert a deeper self-respect that cannot be rattled by outside noise. Letting your actions build your reputation, letting results show your value, and refusing to engage in ego battles creates an aura of strength that others can't help but notice. Silence in these moments isn't weakness. It's proof that you trust your path, know your value, and don't need to chase external validation to feel complete. Over time, those around you learn to listen more closely to your actions and less to your words, realizing that your consistency, calm, and impact are the real story. The quiet person with nothing to prove commands more respect, attracts more loyalty, and walks with the kind of authority that noise can never match. During criticism or provocation, silence becomes the ultimate defense, a shield that preserves your dignity, unsettles those who seek to control you, and stops manipulators in their tracks. When someone attacks, criticizes, or tries to bait you into an argument, the most common reaction is to get defensive, fire back, or scramble to clear your name. But every word you say in these heated moments is often used against you, twisted to fit their narrative or escalate the conflict further. By choosing silence, you refuse to enter their ego battle and deny them the satisfaction of your emotional energy. You send a message that your self-worth isn't up for debate and that you don't owe anyone a piece of your peace. Silence in the face of provocation forces the other person to confront their own motives and can even cause them to lose interest in their attack when they realize you won't play the game. It's not about avoidance or letting disrespect slide. It's about picking your battles with wisdom and conserving your energy for what truly matters. When you respond with calm silence instead of defensiveness, you stand above the chaos, unbothered and unshakable, proving that you won't be dragged down by anyone else's negativity. This level of restraint confuses manipulators, diffuses aggression, and reinforces that your value is not tied to anyone's opinion or attack. Sometimes the most powerful statement is no statement at all. Silence in uncertainty is a mark of wisdom and maturity, because when the path ahead is unclear or your emotions are clouded, choosing to pause, listen, and reflect almost always leads to better decisions and fewer regrets. Most mistakes are made in haste, under pressure to respond, or from a place of anxiety where the need for control overrides the value of patience. When you feel uncertain about a person's motives, a major decision, or even how you truly feel, the instinct is often to talk it out, seek advice, or act quickly to relieve the discomfort. But the greatest clarity comes in the spaces where you allow yourself to step back, hold your tongue, and let time reveal what's hidden. By choosing silence in these moments, you give yourself room to process, observe, and recognize patterns or truths that are only visible when the noise dies down. This silence is not passivity, it's a conscious choice to honor your intuition and not rush your judgment. The best solutions, insights, and directions often come after a period of thoughtful quiet, not in the frenzy of reaction. Practicing silence during uncertainty trains you to trust your inner guidance and teaches others that you don't act on impulse, but with intention. In the end, those who wait for clarity before speaking or moving always gain a reputation for wisdom, reliability, and steady leadership, qualities that set you apart in every area of life. Respecting sacred space by choosing silence is a profound act of empathy, especially in moments where others are vulnerable, grieving, or working through deep emotions. Most people rush to fill awkward silences with advice, solutions, or even well-meaning comfort, but the truth is, silence often communicates more care than words ever could. When someone is pouring out their heart, facing a loss, or revealing something raw, your quiet presence becomes a safe container for their pain or truth. In these moments, silence signals that you're not just hearing them, you're fully present, letting them be seen and felt without the pressure to fix or judge. This creates a rare sense of trust and connection where the other person can process at their own pace and find their own answers. Sometimes, the best support you can give is a held hand, steady eye contact, or just sitting beside someone in their moment of need. Silence honors the gravity of what's being shared, giving space for emotion to breathe and heal. It's in these sacred pauses that the deepest bonds are forged and the most powerful healing begins. When you master the art of silent empathy, you become the person people trust with their hardest moments, not because you always have the right words, but because you know when to say nothing and let presence do the work. Building inner strength through silence is the ultimate mark of discipline and power, because those who can hold their tongue in the face of chaos, temptation, or provocation develop a kind of unbreakable self-control that few ever master. Silence isn't just an external act, it's an internal victory. It means you've trained your mind not to react to every slight, demand, or impulse, and instead respond only when your words will serve a purpose. Over time, this restraint becomes your armor. You no longer give away your power through careless arguments, emotional oversharing, or desperate attempts to be understood. You move through life with calm, knowing that most battles aren't worth fighting. Most secrets are best kept, and most moments of drama are best met with your silence. This discipline not only protects your energy, but it also builds a mystique around you. People notice that you don't get rattled, that you can handle adversity with grace, and that your presence commands attention even when you say nothing. The strongest individuals are those who aren't afraid of silence, who trust themselves enough to hold space, wait for the right moment, and speak only when it truly matters. Over time, mastering silence transforms you from someone easily swayed by circumstance to someone who shapes every room with nothing but confidence. That's real power, the kind that never needs to shout. If you want to move through life with real power, start by mastering the art of silence. In a world obsessed with noise, those who know when to speak and, more importantly, when to hold back always have the upper hand. Silence isn't about weakness or hiding. It's about strategic strength, discipline, and the confidence to let your presence do the talking. The most respected, influential, and unbreakable people aren't those who shout the loudest. They're the ones who can control themselves, read the room, and let their actions and energy make the statement. If this resonated with you, subscribe for more Stoic Night strategies on power, self-mastery, and emotional resilience. Drop a comment with the moment silence changed everything for you, and share this with anyone who needs the reminder. Your greatest weapon isn't what you say, but what you choose not to. Stay silent, stay strong, and let the world lean in.